friends, today I'm going to do my most anticipated releases for the first quarter of 2020. I might not currently be super involved in bookish stuff, but I definitely still have some releases that I'm really looking forward to. I will say that this is probably the list that I feel like is the most incomplete, because usually I just put, especially at the end of the year, I will put a lot of research into upcoming releases for the next whole year. I will put a lot of research into that, and I'm just, again, not really involved in bookish stuff right now. So I feel like there's definitely more amazing releases out there that I just simply do not know about. And obviously there's always releases that I don't know about, but again, usually I definitely put a little bit more research into it. And this is just really the list that I have right now of releases that I've kind of been accumulating and collecting throughout the past year already, basically. And I wish I could have done more research, but it is definitely just been a really busy time. I still have shows between Christmas and New Year's and everything, so I'm just glad that I'm even finding the time to just sit down and film. And so I think I have 20 or 21, so that's obviously still a big number, still more than enough new releases, but I'm sure there will be something, definitely if you have a release that comes out in the first quarter of the new year that you think I will really enjoy, especially if it's queer stuff, definitely let me know. But for now, I will share the ones that are on my list. And yeah, let's just get into it. So first, on January 7th, we have We Used to Be Friends by Amy Spalding. I read Amy Spalding's The Summer of Jordi Perez and really enjoyed it. And so I just have high hopes for this one as well. I think this is about childhood best friends growing apart, and I'm not really sure if it has queer elements as in the two friends falling in love, or if it's just that one of them is queer or both of them are queer, but it's not they are gonna be in a romantic relationship. I'm not really sure, but it is definitely queer. And I think that it is kind of told in a dual perspective, similar to the musical The Last 5 Years. I think there's one person's POV where the timeline moves forward and one where the timeline moves backward. So I think it's going to be a really unique way of storytelling. Then on January 28th, we have Don't Read the Comments by Eric Smith. This is a YA contemporary about two teens, and they both kind of very much use gaming as an escape. There's this, famous game. I feel like it's kind of it kind of sounds like it's gonna go in the direction of Overwatch. I feel like it's kind of supposed to be portraying Overwatch, but I'm not really sure. This is just a random guess that I'm making. And I think it's just very much, about using video games as an escape and, just being really happy in that world, but then having a lot of struggles in your real life. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be a romance between these two characters, but I definitely think it has something to do with online bullying as well. Eric Smith is definitely a big person on Twitter that I feel like he seems like a good egg. And so I'm really excited to read something by him. And then also this book just very much speaks to me. I feel like it's very recent, very social media focused, and then obviously it has to do with gaming, which is one of my buzzwords. So I cannot wait for this one. Then we have a couple of February 4th releases. The first one I want to talk about is All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace. I think that the cover in and of itself already says enough about why I put this on my most anticipated releases list. This clearly has something to do with sea adventures. I definitely know that it has mermaids. I definitely know that it has magic involved. It is about a princess of a kingdom, and she goes on some kind of quest, sailing the kingdoms and just dealing with magic stuff and dealing with mermaids. And it's just one of those books where I'm has many of my buzzwords, and that's all that I need. Then also on February 4th is Yes, No, Maybe So by Becky Albertelli and Aisha Seed. Now, I'm gonna tell you quite honestly, all I know is that this is a YA contemporary, definitely has a romance in there, and the authors, because that's all I need to know. I'm really I don't even want to read the synopsis because I'm just going to pick this up just based on the authors. And then also on February 4th, we have Upright Women Wanted by Sarah Gailey. This is definitely another one where I'm pretty sure I had this on my list initially put this on my list because of the author, Sarah Gailey. I mean, I have not read anything by Sarah Gailey, but Sarah Gailey is definitely a big queer presence on Twitter. I feel like you can't really, miss them if you are in any shape or form involved in the queer bookish community. And this is a fantasy novel about a girl who has just escaped an arranged marriage, and she was supposed to marry the man who beforehand was supposed to marry her best friend who she was in love with. And that friend was executed for possessing a resistance propaganda. So I definitely, well, I mean, the title already says it. It's definitely about, you know, just like a resistance or something. It is like a Western novel. I guess it's like an, you know, kind of alternate reality set Western story, which usually I would never in a million years be in any shape or form drawn to a Western, but obviously, you know, this is queer. And again, I am really interested in reading something by this author as well, so I'm like super pumped to give this one a chance. And then finally, from the February 4th releases, we have Belle Revolt. I'm not even sure how this is supposed to be pronounced, by Lindsay Miller. This is a YA fantasy where two girls, I feel like Lindsay Miller has written a story before where there was a non-binary character in it, so I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely about two people kind of, you know, switching lives, because one of them is like a noble woman who's supposed to, you know, just like live this fancy life, but all she wants to do is be a physician. And then there is this other person who is not noble, but you have to be a noble in order to learn magic, and she wants to learn magic, and so they swap lives. That's all I know about it. I'm really interested in reading something by Lindsay Miller, even though I have heard okay things about their earlier work. Pretty sure that there is queer elements in it, and I think that it could definitely be something related to gender. Then on February 11th, we have the new David Espinoza by Fretless. I am so excited about this one, and I really hope that it is good, because this is a YA contemporary about steroid abuse and male body dysmorphia. And I think we need those stories so much. Like, we need so many more stories. So I really hope this is good. I'm really ready to read this, to support this, to really stand behind this book and show people that we need more representation like that. And I think that it is based on the author's own experience with that, which obviously is like the best case scenario. I am super pumped for this, and I really hope that people go hard for it. And again, I just hope that it also, you know, is an actually good representation of those issues. But I'm just so glad that this is a book that's getting published, because I definitely think we need more stories like that. Then also on February 11th, we have Ink in the Blood by Kim Smekal. This is a YA fantasy that has something to do with tattoo magic, and it takes place like in a theater setting, or it has something to do with theater. I fucking love the cover. The cover looks so stereotypical emo. I absolutely love everything about it. The cover is my cringy aesthetic, and I love it. I love it so much. And again, tattoo magic, theater stuff, all that I need to know. I'm not gonna read the synopsis because I'm hyped. Then on February 18th, we have Glitch Kingdom by Sheena Buckwick. This is a YA science fiction fantasy book. I really don't know much about this. Okay, let me say straight up, I really do not like this cover, but it is a YA book where the characters are realizing they are trapped in a video game. And it is about the daughter of an executioner and a traitorous prince that have to work together. I don't know if there's gonna be a romance. I would hope it is, with, you know, that kind of dynamic. I would absolutely love that. But again, this is just one of those things where I'm sold because it has buzzwords, and I really hope it's better than the cover. I'm so sorry. Then on February 25th, we have The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller. This is a YA fantasy that is about a girl who decides to basically make the king fall in love with her, marry him, and then kill him to, I guess, become queen herself. I absolutely love Trisha Levenseller's Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. Love those two books so much, and they were really fun but really dark at the same time. And so I have huge, maybe too high hopes for this one actually. But the author, and then this synopsis and this cover, love it, love everything about it. Really, this might be like, for this quarter, in my top 3. maybe top 5. But no, top 3 actually, I think. I am very much pumped for this. Then also on February 25th, we have We Unleash the Merciless by Taylor K. Mejia. This is the sequel to We Set the Duck on Fire. And I want to say that this is a duology, so this is the final book. We Set the Duck on Fire was a book that I read and reviewed last year, and I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I'm super pumped to check out the sequel, to see where the story goes, to see where just, you know, the whole world goes. It is a dystopian novel, which is, you know, obviously not a genre that's like super popular anymore. And I'm just glad that Taylor K. Mejia decided to just, you know, put that out there. It has a female-female relationship. And so I'm not really sure if this is one that's like super high priority, especially as I'm obviously not really reading, but I am just definitely really excited to see what people think of it, how people will like this compared to the first one. I feel like the first one got quite some criticism. I think it was good, but I think that there is huge potential for the sequel to be really, really amazing. And then we have a whole bunch of March 3rd releases. The first one is When We Were Magic by Sarah Gailey. Obviously, I talked about this author before. This is a witchy book. I think it is kind of like a funny witchy book, so it's definitely more in the fantasy leaning direction, but I think it takes place in our world, and it's about, you know, this big friendship group. It definitely has queer characters in there. Again, the author, all that I need to know. Then on March 3rd, we have Bonecryer's Moon by Catherine Purdy. This is a YA fantasy that I think has something to do with the underworld. I think the main character is kind of from this family that has the ability to like harvest power from animal bones, and with that kind of ferries the dead to the underworld. And I think she has to go through this ritual in order to actually be able to, you know, do all of that. And then I think there's this dude who somehow plots a revenge against the Bone Criers, you know, who this girl is part of. And I guess it's a hate-to-love romance. I'm not really sure. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the concept sounds a little bit confusing, but at the end of the day, it's YA fantasy. It has something to do with the underworld and the dead, and I think it's a hate-to-love romance. So I'm in. Count me the fuck in. And then another March 3rd release is Hello Now by Jenny Valentine. This basically just sounds like a mix between Everyday by David Levithan and kind of a YA version of The Time Traveler's Wife. I know it's about this main character who is a time traveler who just, you know, turns up in random places throughout his life. And then I'm assuming it is a romantic storyline between this character and another female main character. I do think it has queer elements as well. Maybe it's gender stuff. I'm not really sure. Again, I have not done too much research, but I do love books with these kinds of concepts, so I am just super, super interested in this. Another March 3rd release is Havenfall by Sarah Holland. Now, I haven't read anything by Sarah Holland yet, but I am definitely interested in checking out this author's works. This is a YA fantasy that is about this inn that I think is like hidden in mountains that connects these magical realms to each other. And the main character always spends her summers there and is, I think, supposed to, you know, be the innkeeper at some point in her life, and she just really, really loves, you know, spending her summers there. It's really just like her safe haven. But then this one summer there is a dead body all of a sudden turning up in the inn, and like nobody knows what's happening and nobody knows what's going on, and I guess we're just gonna go on a journey to solve that. I just think that it sounds like a really, really cool and interesting concept and something that I would really enjoy, and I just really hope that Sarah Holland delivers with this amazing concept. Then also on March 3rd, we have Only Mostly Devastated by Sophie Gonzalez. This is basically described as Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda meets Clueless, inspired by Grease. I just love it. This is a male-male romance, and it is about this kind of, you know, summer love, and then they end up just like, I think one of the guys ends up ghosting the other or something like that. I am just so excited. I mean, just any kind of retelling or reimagining in any shape or form, being queer or marginalized, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. And another March 4th release is The Kingdom of Back by Mary Lou. All I know about this is that it's Mary Lou, which, to be fair, I found Legend to be only okay, but I did really love Warcross. I also didn't love Wildcard, but still, like, I have a lot of faith in Mary Lou, and I think that I will definitely always be interested in checking out what she writes. And this one I know is somehow inspired by Mozart. I think it's fantasy or like historical fantasy, but definitely has something to do with Mozart. So hopefully there is a big focus on music in this book. I'm not exactly sure, but I just know that Mozart and Mary Lou, like, these are the two things that I needed to know in order for me to know that I really want to read this book. She said when she has not read anything in like 4 months. And finally, from the March 3rd releases, we have probably the biggest one in this whole quarter. Well, I think there's the Sarah J. Maas one coming out that same day. But it is Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. It's funny to me how this was pushed back, and still I'm like, what? This already comes out in like 2 months? Wild. Absolutely wild to me. I know, like, technically this should already be out, but I just cannot believe. I cannot believe it's been over a year since Queen of Air and Darkness. Just what the fuck is time? But obviously this is the newest book in the Shadowhunter universe. You know, it starts a new trilogy about James Herondale. And I'm just so pumped. I'm so fucking pumped. I just absolutely cannot wait. I think it's gonna be glorious, and I just cannot wait to fall more in love with all of these characters. Then on March 10th, we have Harley in the Sky by Akemi Dawn Bowman, and this is another one where it's definitely very much inspired by the author. I absolutely loved Akemi Dawn Bowman's Summerbird Blue. It was basically my top 11 of 2018, and I just really loved it. I really loved the writing. I really loved the representation, and I just thought that it was a really beautifully written book, and so I'm just super pumped for this. I think this is about like a trapeze, is that how you say it? I'm not sure. A trapeze artist. And so that obviously has me extra pumped. Anything with performing arts speaks very much to me. And again, this is just all that I needed. The author and that kind of topic. But honestly, I think probably it could have been whatever. I'm super excited about any of Akemi Dawn Bowman's future work. And then also on March 10th, we have A Phoenix First Must Burn, edited by Patrice Caldwell. This is a YA anthology that is all about the experience of Black women and non-conforming teens, and I think that it is all Black authors as well. It is, I think, fantasy and science fiction and magic, and I'm just super excited about it. I think that it's kind of like, it said something about how it's inspired by Beyonce's Lemonade, and just kind of like taking the concept and idea of that and just putting it in a YA fiction book, and it just sounds absolutely fantastic. It makes my heart incredibly happy. Absolutely cannot wait for this one. And finally, on March 24th, we have We Were Promised Spotlights by Lindsay Sproul. This is a YA contemporary that is described as the miseducation of Cameron Post meets Everything Leads to You, which are two female books that I absolutely loved. So really, that is all that I needed. I think it very much portrays the experience of being a queer teen in a small town, on how I feel like for many, your life is already set up a certain way, and then if you are different in any shape or form, then it is immediately like just everything seems to fall apart, because all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, like that this is not what I signed up for, like this is different. And so I cannot wait for this one. If it is in any way like The Miseducation of Cameron Post or Everything Leads to You, I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So yeah, these are all of my most anticipated releases for the first quarter of 2020. Obviously, again, especially if you have anything that's like queer, where you feel like it is something that I would enjoy, let me know in the comments below. But also name anything that you're just really excited for that's coming up in the next 3 months that I haven't mentioned, or that I have mentioned. Just let me know what you're excited about. And yeah, I'm making the videos hopefully at least once a week, so click subscribe to never miss anything, and hit the little bell so you get notified as well. And thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!